Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, and welcome back to another live stream where Manchester United seem to have suddenly just clicked into life out of absolutely nowhere and got ourselves two signings through the door. I last streamed a week ago, last Wednesday, and we were talking about the time about, are we a little bit worried? Do we trust that Manchester United are going to make the right signings? And I remember saying, providing we do something in the next 10 days and it's a good signing, I'll be quite happy. I'll be content and I'll be confident that we can get the right players in later in the window. Fast forward just 7 days and we've signed Andre Santos from Chelsea, one of the best youngsters they've got at the football club, and Aston Villa's best player, or certainly top 3 players, in Yuri Tielemans. Just out of nowhere, United have exploded into life. And this is why I always try not to get too carried away with the transfer market. I try not to get too downbeat or too overexcited because it just constantly changes. Who knows? Tomorrow we might sign someone that I think is absolutely terrible, or we might sign someone that I think is an absolute world beater. As fans, we never quite know what's going on behind closed doors. But what I do know now is that United have got themselves 2 brand new midfielders, which we desperately needed. We still probably need one more on that a little bit later on. But we have signed 2 Premier League midfielders, 2 very good players who are going to come straight into this team and hopefully help us. What I want to do today is basically just catch up and have a chat about what you think about this business, what you think about the 2 that we have signed, what you think we still need, how good are these guys, how are they going to fit in, what does it mean for Kobe Mainu, and perhaps some other players that you would like to see signed to complete the rebuild. That is the plan for today. For example, Big Will in the chat, good morning to you, asking for my opinions on Carlos Baleba. I think his profile is certainly one that is close to what we need in terms of the athleticism, the ground coverage, the ball carrying in possession, the press resistance in the first phase, the fact that he's left-footed. Yeah, Baleba is a player that I would look at. But it would really depend on the price for me. I think if we can get him for a good price, he's probably the player that I would go for. But I don't know how friendly Brighton are going to be with negotiations and the price and everything. So we'll have to see. Let's go, AJ. Congrats on 100k. Yes, thank you very much for that. I've got something planned for 100,000 subscribers. I want to release a football shirt and do a giveaway for some people, but also a football shirt that people can buy as well. And, you know, it's in the works. I'm working on it. But you guys were just so quick, so phenomenal with the support in the past 10 days that it's not ready yet. You guys have been too quick for me to be able to keep up. So, yes, thank you all very much for that. And like I said, you know, 100,000 subscribers is way beyond anything that I ever thought was possible when we first started this channel. So thank you all very much for day in, day out, choosing to tune into this channel to get your United coverage. I really, really do appreciate it. Connor, good morning to you, my friend. How are you? Let me know. Is there a version of Onana who is not so injury prone? I mean, it's a great question. I assume you are referencing Amadou Onana from Aston Villa and Belgium. Like I said, big injury problems over the past couple of seasons. He's not really got going for him since he went to Villa. When he was at Everton, he was a player that I wanted. But yeah, it's not worked for him at Villa with injuries and everything. Is there an alternative? I don't know. He's a bit of a beast, isn't he? He's quite a unique player. He's like 6'5", yet can move in the way that he does. There's not many players like that are out there. Anton Stack would maybe be an interesting one, but it's a year too late for him. So yeah, I don't know that you can get Onana's exact profile elsewhere. I mean, Valterberger would be an interesting one. He's a really good player. But I think United are probably going to be going for a bigger name for this last midfield signing. I'll be gutted if we don't get Lewis Hall. Yeah, he seems like a great opportunity to me. Someone that I think we should get in the door this summer. What's the latest on Rashford and what do you think about his return? What's the latest? I don't know. You know, I think he himself has said it's going to be settled after the World Cup now. So I don't think there is a latest as such. The latest is he is, after the World Cup, going to return to Manchester United. Do I think he will then be sold? I don't know what's going to happen next, to be honest. What do I think should happen? I think the quality of the player is good enough for us to keep. I think Rashford's a good enough player for us. But I just sort of think with everything that's happened, it might be easier for him it might be better for him to go elsewhere and for United to bring someone else through the door, is my opinion. Look at all the messages flooding into the chat. I absolutely love that from you guys. There's a message I want to read. I mean, as many as possible. Didn't Spain show yesterday that ball carrying maybe is a bit overrated and press resistance and passing ability is maybe more important? Yeah, I mean, I've always felt the ball can move quicker than what the man can, right? And the mind can work quicker than the body ever can. Passers and agile players have always been my type of midfielder. Don't get me wrong, over the last few years, we've on the channel pushed the need for more physical players, and I think that is the case still. But if you ask me my dream footballing style, it's sort of close to how Spain play. That's the approach that I like. With a bit more speed and verticality at times is something that I enjoy, a bit more direct play from wingers. But certainly, how that Spanish midfield often operates, that's how I think football should be played. They're the type of players that I certainly enjoy watching. Son, good morning to you. You might have a busy morning today because the chat is rather full. But yes, guys, please no all capital messages in the chat. They're just not going to be read out. So, yeah, please don't do that. Also, Son, I don't know if any of your friends are there with you today, but if so, hi and thank you for subscribing. I like the Yuri Tielemans signing. It brings experience and leadership, which we need. I think our next signing needs to be Manu Kone. Yeah, I think he's a name that's getting put forward a lot. And we'll come back to a couple of other names shortly. Completely agree with the experience and leadership. I think we need that. I really wanted more Champions League experience if possible. Tielemans has a little bit, but he's not gone and won the Champions League before. I would have liked that. I think his age is good for us. I was putting Bruno Guimaraes forward as a signing. What I like about sort of signing a 29-year-old is that he's not going to block Kobe, etc. for too long. Kobe, Andre Santos, they're going to have a couple of years where they can also learn off Tielemans and work together with him. And then in 4 or 5 years' time, those guys will then come into their prime almost perfectly. So I think that works nicely as well. Do you think France were poor or were Spain just that good? Spain were very good. I think tactically they're the best team at the tournament. France probably had the best individuals that didn't turn up last night. And then tactically didn't have quite enough to sort of get them over the line. I think it was a little bit of both. I think France were poor. I think Spain were very good, and yeah, deserved to be in the final. Deserved to be in the final based off last night. Your Champions League experience got cooked last night. Not gonna lie. Well, I think Rodri's got a decent amount of Champions League experience. Fabian Ruiz has won the competition, right? I think Spain themselves have plenty of Champions League experience. France were poor, yeah, they were. Chris, by the way, lovely to see you. Good morning. Haven't seen you for quite a while. Lovely to have you in here. Walter Berger, a cheap squad player, tall left-footed defensive midfielder. Yeah, he's a nice option to keep an eye on. I just think we might go a bit more premium with the final midfield signing. I really need to get away, right, where the chat is in a better place for me. It's on a second monitor over here. I almost need it up here or something, because I'm always looking like so far away from camera because I spend most of the stream reading the chat. Yeah, Camavinga as well, being spoken about in the past 24 hours. I think it was Fabrizio, right, saying that United do hold an interest in Camavinga, but he doesn't want to leave Real Madrid, but Madrid would potentially be willing to let him go. Camavinga is absolutely a player that I would consider. He's a player that I wanted before the start of the tournament. Before the start of the summer. Sorry, World Cup on my mind. Yeah, Camavinga was a player that I wanted to be part of the United midfield rebuild. The left-footed option, the passing option, the dribbling, the carrying. Does he have the ground coverage to sort of partner what we've signed so far? I'm not so sure. And don't get me wrong, it's not about we have to have a midfield destroyer. I know we don't. Spain don't. PSG don't have midfield destroyers and they work all right. But I do think having someone in the squad somewhere that can do it is useful to bring in, especially in the Premier League where the environment is quite different. I'm not saying we need a destroyer that's going to start every week, but I think having one that we could use for certain games would be useful. When we play against Newcastle, having someone who can match their physicality would be of good use for us. If Camavinga doesn't want to leave Madrid, we shouldn't get him. I sort of agree. I do like the approach of if they want us and we want them, then we'll make it work. You know, having players that want to play for the club, I think, is a great thing for us. The way that Tielemans spoke was really good the other day. I think that's a really nice sign for us fans. I think we don't need Kone. I think he's not that good. I think it was certainly a poor display from him last night. Kone came on alongside Tielemans. One of the first times they've played alongside each other at this tournament. Normally he's been a Tielemans replacement. I think Kone's had a better tournament than Tielemans, to be honest. But yeah, Kone was poor last night. There were too many moments off the ball, and he came on at half time, right? Or just after. And, you know, sort of 25 minutes into the second half, he's letting runners go off the back of him. He wasn't recovering. He was jumping and leaving the gaps behind him. Kone is a player, Manu Kone, this is for France. He's a player that I really, really like. I think last night, though, he was terrible when he came on. Really, really poor. Now, perhaps we shouldn't hold that against him too much, because we could use that logic to say we shouldn't sign Mbappe, for example. But, yeah, there were some red flags in that performance last night, I thought. Still a really good option, left foot. Good passer as well, off both feet, to be honest. Good rangy passer. I don't think we need him with Tielemans. To be honest, I think you'd want one or the other. Still, I don't think it's got the intensity that you would want as well. Ground coverage. Again, I hate to go on about it too much because I'm so in love with the technical side of the game. But I do think we need some legs in the middle of the park. And yeah, Stiller would not bring that. He's really quite poor in terms of his mobility. Yeah, Tielemans was also really, really poor last night. I mean, some of his defensive work, breaking up the play, was still decent, but everything on the ball was, yeah, quite horrific. Quite a hard watch, actually, at times, France on the ball last night. Do we need a premium option for the third midfielder, with Santos and Tielemans being Premier League midfielders? We could get more experimental for the third profile. I mean, it's probably down to personal opinion, right? I still think the midfield needs one more, I'm going to say, a guaranteed hitter. It doesn't have to be premium, but someone who we are confident will be a success. I don't think we're in the place to gamble in the middle of the park still. Maybe next summer we will be. Once we've got the foundations in this summer, maybe next summer we can gamble on someone. With the two that we've signed so far, I think one more player that is as close to a big hitter as possible is required. So I would still be looking at an established player. It doesn't have to be Premier League proven, and it doesn't have to be £100 million. But I don't think I would be gambling as such right now. I think I'd be going for someone that I'm pretty confident is going to hit the ground running and is assured to be a success, which is difficult to do, but... We got Tweety in the chat with the €6 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Maguire mentioned that having him and Casemiro at set pieces caused defences big problems. We're missing that going into this season. It's a big area to watch. Yeah, obviously our set pieces were incredible last year. Bruno got the assist record. A lot of them came from set pieces. Casemiro scored a lot from set pieces, a heck of a lot. Yeah, we're going to lose something there. Of course we are. I don't think there's many players sort of in the world that are as good as Casemiro in the air in terms of dominance, winning the aerial, but also sort of the accuracy, the direction, right? It's very, very difficult to replace. I think Maguire himself admitted that Casemiro is the better aerial player. So we are losing something there. Weirdly, Santos himself is actually quite effective attacking set pieces, sort of sneaking around the back post. He's quite a good player, but he's not the same player that, let's say you're playing Arsenal. In a normal world, you might think, okay, Maguire goes up, and he's going to attract the attention of Saliba. And then Casemiro goes up, he's going to attract the attention of Gabriel. That means Sesko is going to be against a smaller player. Santos wouldn't have that same impact, would he? But I think we're going to struggle to find that. An interesting player to look into is Locatelli. Locatelli has been one of my dream signings for a long time now. Again, he's another one that I probably wouldn't do alongside Tielemans, though, at this point. I think we've sort of ticked certain boxes that needed to be ticked with Tielemans. Now we can look for a different profile, I think. I've also just always got the impression that Locatelli's not leaving. I don't think he's moving. Do you think that our transfer dealings so far are floor raisers or ceiling raisers? That's a good question. Good question. I think they're immediate floor raisers, to be honest. I think their technical ability on the ball is going to make Manchester United a better team. Because we're going to look after the ball better. We're going to probe against teams better. We're going to pick our moments better, which should also help us defensively as well. So I think they raised the floor. But I also think they both have a lot of potential to raise the ceiling. Tielemans right now could do it immediately. And Santos in time could as well. So weirdly, I think it's both. I do think it's both. But I certainly think they do raise the floor of this team. I think the third guy should also be tall. I think it's something that we'll consider, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, it's something that we'll consider. I would like for Manchester United to sign a centre-back. You and me both. We've done these two for the price of Mateus Fernandes. Like, if we sign one more midfielder, let's say we sign a midfielder for £75 million, we'd have done the midfield for around 150. I think there were a lot of people that thought we'd spend closer to 200. There was this thought, like the two premium sort of, or two marquee titles thrown about. So let's say 75 on one, 75 on another, 40 on the other. That was going to be £190 million midfield rebuild. We're probably going to end up doing it a little bit cheaper than that. So maybe that's going to give us some funds where we can explore elsewhere, where we can get an even better left winger than we thought, perhaps, or a better left back than we thought, or the same players down the left, but we can sign a centre back as well, or a different backup striker. It does give us options. I would have loved Mateus Fernandes, but I do just about think getting these two for the same price as just him is probably better business from us. I think we've ended up with the better end of the deal, even though I would have loved him. I would have loved him. Lewis Hall, yeah, he's the one, isn't he? He's the one. Midfielder or defender? I'd do both. I'd do both. If it was me right now and I've got 3 more signings that I can make of a decent level, I'm going in these 3 positions, personally. A lot of people don't think we need a fullback. I think we need a centre-back more. I could agree with that. I just think Lewis Hall is one of those opportunities in the market that don't come up that often. Let me just grab some players on the screen. Let's just sort of look at how this plays out with the depth of the squad. I won't include Ugarte for today just because the injury looks like it will rule him out for the majority of next season. But, if we now start to look at this as a squad, if we could sign another midfielder and 2 players down the left, I think we now start to end up with a squad which looks really good. 2 high-quality players for every position. In some positions, we've got more. Is Xerxes going to stay? I'm not sure. But we've got flexibility, versatility. Cunha can go up front, and Mbeumo can. He can go to the left. Bruno can drop deeper. Oh, we haven't got Mount. Mount can go in there as well. Then you've got some of the academy players, the likes of Amas or Fredrickson or Fletcher or Lacey. I think we're getting there now with this squad. I think that puts us a little bit closer. Which is why I would say these positions. Some people would say we don't need a left back and we can just put Dorgu there. But the impression that I get is that he's going to be used as a winger. So I think we need a left back. People would say if he's going to play as a winger, we don't need a new one. But respectfully, I just disagree. Because I think we still need an extra dribbling profile in the front line. So this is where my business would be. This player here, a left winger, a left back, and still a central midfielder. At that point, if there was anything left, I would try and get another centre back. I don't know if that's going to be possible for us this year. Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't have thought so. Some people want a backup striker. I get the argument for that. If we sell Xerxes, that could fund a move. I probably still wouldn't go for it myself, though. I just think the fact that Mbeumo can go there, Cunha, maybe the new left winger we signed could go up there. If you had to, Mount could go into a role up there. So I actually personally wouldn't go for another striker. But that's just me. I would prioritise the other positions. Yeah, true. Rashford affects things. If Rashford stays at the club, we don't need a left winger. At that point, I'd work with what we've got there. I would also maybe not sign a striker for that reason as well, thinking that Rashford could cover the 2 positions. All right, let's get these guys off the screen because we've got about 34 players in the way, and it's going to get a little bit messy if I don't remove these guys from the equation. Whilst I do that, speaking of messy, how are we feeling about the World Cup semi-final last night and tonight's game as well? Of course, England-Argentina. How are we feeling about that one? Do we have any England fans in it? Do we have any Argentina fans? And if so, How are the nerves? How's the confidence? What are we thinking? Do let me know. I've been trying to cover as much of the World Cup as possible on the AJ Talks Tactics channel, which is our other YouTube channel that we've got to cover teams other than United. Obviously, this channel takes priority though, so I haven't been able to do as much of the World Cup as I would have liked. For example, right now I'd like to be analysing Spain-France, but I have to do this stream. I've got to bring the stream to you guys. So the main channel does always take priority. Son, perfect. Thank you very much. I will pin that message so you guys can see in the chat, the second channel, if you wish to check it out. But yeah, I will probably be covering the England game on that channel, I think. It's not guaranteed, though. I'm hoping next season, once things are a bit more settled, once or twice a week, we'll be able to go to the second channel and talk about how different teams are going to play. But yeah, United's business in the past week or 5 days has sort of disrupted the flow over there. And I've been on a couple of breaks, a couple of holidays as well. So yeah, it's been a little bit tricky to manage the two channels. But I mean, there's still plenty of videos over there if you want to go and check them out. All right, I'll quickly get some thoughts on the England-Argentina game, and then we'll go back to Manchester United. Let's have a quick look. The only man that can give us a chance against Spain is Cobby. You got to beat Spain for Argentina first. We know that every game since the round of 32 was going to be difficult. Yeah, I mean, my prediction before the World Cup was that England would go all the way. I sort of am one of those fans who's a little bit delusional and has that thought every single year. It's no different this year. I think England can win the World Cup. But as we've pointed out a few times on the second channel, whoever's going to win it is going to get lucky at some point, right? They're going to overcome some very difficult teams. They're going to get a little bit of luck with injuries. They're going to get a little bit of luck with refereeing decisions. They're going to get a little bit of luck with a deflection which bounces their way, or someone missing a big chance for the opposition, or scoring an absolute screamer out of nowhere. Any team left in the World Cup, any team in the last 8 of the World Cup were contenders to win it. Now any team in the last 4 or last 3, they're all contenders. Football matches can be won by anyone on an individual day. We know that all 3 teams have got decent tactical balance. Spain probably got the best tactical approach, but the other 2 have probably got a few more sort of world beaters and stars. So anyone can still win this World Cup, and that includes England. And like every game, I'm confident for tonight. I'm very nervous, very, very nervous. It's kicked in, but I'm confident as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a good last few games of the tournament. 2 big games still to go. One more semi-final, then the final. Happy days. Looking forward to it. Anyway, back to United. We need more reinforcements. Attack, defence, backs. World class, not average. Where would you put Tielemans and Santos? Oh, let's quickly cover this comment from Max. I am Argentinian. We are not underestimating any team. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it is right. Like, if you win the World Cup, you're going to beat some good teams along the way, and you're going to come through some really hard patches. Respectfully, I hope you hate the match tonight, because I hope England win comfortably. But yeah, it is that, right? It's going to be hard for anyone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tielemans is world class. I think he is. Yeah, I think Tielemans is. Santos isn't, in my opinion. I think he's a bit... I never say the word opinion. I always say pinion, because I'm like finishing the word before. I speak way too fast. My brain's just going... Tielemans is world class, in my opinion. Santos isn't right now. Obviously, he's got a lot of potential. He's only 22 years old, so he's got the potential to be a top player. I think I would like one more that is sort of around that Tielemans level. In and around that. It's quite difficult to find, but that's the sort of level that I'd be looking for, as opposed to sort of this youngster with high potential. I'd like a more proven player right now. Last season, none of our defenders' performances were average. I still have concerns about the defence in terms of the durability of the likes of Lisandro Martinez, Maguire, De Ligt. Worried about that. It's just a lack of speed and power in the back line for my liking. Heaven and Yoro are the blueprint, but we're going to have to wait and see how they develop, whether they can sort of lift the load that we need them to. I think it's going to be a big, big season for Lenny Yoro. I think he's got to have a good one. It's not quite make or break time for him. He's still young enough that he's got loads of time. But just in terms of the expectation and the pressure on him and what we know he can do, I think it's a big year for him. Really interested to see if Michael Carrick sort of evolves the idea and we play a little bit higher, we press a little bit more aggressively. If so, does that mean Maguire comes out of the team? If it does, you lose something in terms of an aerial sense. Is there a weird world still where we sell a centre-back, where we randomly out of nowhere sell Lisandro Martinez and we buy someone new? You know, the signings have been out of nowhere. Maybe there's going to be an outgoing, which is out of nowhere. I don't know. I personally would want one more powerful and fast centre-back, or powerful and mobile centre-back, I should say. I would still like that, but I don't think we're going to prioritise it this summer. I think we'll wait one more year, and we'll see more of that next summer. Santos has, in my opinion, the same potential as Matheus Fernandes. He was a key part of the good run Chelsea went on. Yep, facts. A fantastic season at Strasbourg and only 2 months older than Fernandes. For me, I have Fernandes a little bit higher in terms of current level. Potential, yeah, who knows what the ceiling is, right? I think what Santos needs to do is add a bit more range to his game. Both on and off the ball. Add a bit more range to certain things that he does. Just affect slightly bigger distances. That doesn't have to be sort of sprinting about covering 90 yards, but maybe it's can he find that quicker pass over a longer distance? That's something that I would like him to add to his game. But yeah, I'm really excited to see him. I think he's a type of midfielder that we haven't really had at this club in the past 5 years or so. The passes that we have had have been quite rangy ones, right? Casemiro and Eriksen. And apart from that, in the last 5 years, I can't think of the proper passer that we've had in midfield. Paul Pogba, I guess, but even he didn't sort of sit deep at the base. Nemanja Matic was one of the last ones that we had, but even he didn't move it quite as sharply as what Santos will. I do think this is quite a different profile for us to have in this team. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a shock the way that he plays. I think it'll be quite alien to United fans, but in a very good way. I'm looking forward to pre-season. We've got the first game against Wrexham this Saturday. I don't know if we'll see either of these two or not. Maybe we'll see them second half. I'd imagine it'll be 45 minutes of one team, 45 minutes of another team, like a fresh 11. Yeah, these two could get in, to be fair, because we don't have anyone else, and what better time to get them sort of warmed up. Maybe Tielemans needs a bit more of a break. He only just got back from the World Cup with Belgium. But Santos, I'd quite like to see at the weekend. Maybe we give Tielemans another week before we push him into the team. Andre will play. Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting. 400 of you forgot to push the like button. And I mean, that is just criminal behavior. Guys, if you do enjoy the streams, or if you like the videos, or you like the content, or whatever, please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It basically just pushes the content to more people, so we get more eyes on it, which means over time we can sort of like evolve and improve everything as we go. So yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. Tielemans is off until the 5th. Oh, I didn't actually know that. I was hoping that he would have time off, but I didn't know if he would. I didn't know if, like, just been to the World Cup, had a disappointing exit, and then you signed for such a massive club. I weren't sure if he would want to be like, nope, I'm ready, guys. I'll come straight to you. But I'm actually glad that he's going to have a little bit of a holiday, because I think he needs it. You know, he's played a lot of football since the age of sort of 16, Tielemans has. So I'm quite glad if he is going to have a couple of weeks off. It's a shame that we won't get to see him so quick. But yeah, I'm sort of quite happy if he's going to have a couple of weeks off. I think that would be a good thing for him. Get on holiday, then come back. We've got Reeves with the super chat. Thank you very much. Let me leave a love heart on that and encourage everyone in the chat to do the same. Love hearts if you see a super chat or a membership or anything like that. Also, if you are a member, by the way, try out the new emojis in chat. Anyway, Reeves' message. Hi, AJ. Realistically, which midfielder do you think we could sign? So you look at that midfield and think it can go up against any team in the world. See, actually, I'll fully answer your question sort of as I go. That actually does tie in quite nicely to something that I've wanted to bring up. You know, sort of second half of last season, we'd sit here and do streams on a Friday afternoon or Friday morning, previewing the game at the weekend, and we'd go, what back four do we pick? You know, it's probably going to be Lissandro Martinez and Maguire, but this guy's injured. Let's bring him in. Fullbacks, who are we going to go for? What's going to be the makeup of the front three? But every single game, you know, game in, game out, unless there was injuries or suspensions, we went, it's going to be Casemiro, it's going to be Kobbie Mainoo, and it's going to be Bruno Fernandes. Right? We knew what our midfield was last season. I don't think we will know our strongest midfield at any point during next season. Does that make sense? I don't think we will have like a set starting 11. Of course, naturally, I guess there'll be an 11 that plays more than the rest. But I just think with hopefully the amount of competitions and everything, I think what we're really going to have is the flexibility to adapt. So we can go, all right, we've got City this weekend. So what we need is this from our midfield. So we're going to go with these two. And then in midweek, we might have a different type of challenge. So we're going to go for these two midfielders. The week after is going to be these two. Like, I'm interested to know whether we are going to sort of have a starting two, for example, Kobbie and Tielemans, and we're going to build around those two. Or whether Carrick is really going to be a bit of like a Tinkerman manager who every week is going to tweak it just a little bit, depending on what we're facing. So this week we need a bit more press resistance. Let's bring Kobbie in. This week we want to play over larger distances. Let's get Tielemans in the side. I'm really intrigued to see how we're going to do that. I don't know if there will be like a set midfield that is the strongest. I get a feeling we might sort of constantly rotate and constantly tweak it and constantly change it, which is a good thing. It's also a bad thing in a way, because does it remove our playing identity, which I think is often important? Perhaps, maybe it is a bad thing. Let me know what you think. But also, how often do I sit here and say we've got to be unpredictable? You know, the opposition need to have problems to solve, and we need to throw as many different questions their way as possible. And I think this midfield is going to bring that, especially if we sign one more. So, yeah, it's an exciting problem to have, isn't it? It's a great problem to have. I don't quite know how it's going to work. In terms of who I think the signing will be, to be honest, I don't think there is one out there now that I would look at and go, absolutely, he has to start alongside him. You know, for example, if we're not getting Tchouaméni, if we're not getting Guimaraes, whoever, I don't think there is a perfect Kobbie Mainoo partner out there right now, for example. There's maybe not a perfect Tielemans partner. I think we're going to see one more midfielder that is versatile, that can do certain things that these lot can't. I think it's going to be a player which impacts the larger distances. And yeah, I think it's going to be a tinkering job quite a lot, to be honest. I think it's going to be a tinkering job. That's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Do you guys agree? Then we got Mizzle with a video idea and a £2 super chat. Thank you very much, guys. Make sure to spam the love hearts in the chat. Video idea. What will 21-year-old Kobbie Mainoo become? I like that. I like that idea. I might just wait until he's played a couple of preseason games. He's not going to get much preseason, is he? He's not going to get much preseason. He'll be fresh though, which is a good thing. But yeah, definitely happy to do that video at some point. Sort of how our signings are going to impact him, how he might work with them. Just in my hair, that's a travesty. Yeah, I like that video idea, and thank you very much for the super chat. And then we got David in here as well with the super chat. David is a legend. If you don't know him, get to know him, because he's been around here for a long old time. One of the true legends of this community. Saying, congratulations, mate. Finally got to the big 100k. It's taken long enough, hasn't it? It's been a long old journey. Proud of you and the community that you've built. More to come, surely. David, you know how much I appreciate everything that you've done for this channel. Thank you very much. As always, thank you for the super chat and the kind words. Yeah, the community is the thing that I'm the proudest of. The fact that on a day like today, we can just quickly hop into a live stream, have a chat about the players we've signed, talk a little bit about the World Cup. It's just sick, right? That we've got this community, that we've got this place that we can hop in. And just read through the chat. There's just no toxicity at all. And like on our videos, we've got a 99.8% like rate. Like, that's absurd. Just how much positivity comes from this community. We've built such a great place, I think, to enjoy football, to talk about football. And I just absolutely love it, to be honest. So yeah, thank you for helping build it, I guess. And thank you very much for the super chat. Swear down, come a long way. Always knew it would happen. We have come a long way, Pap. We have. We're just getting started, though. That is still the message from me. Steve, good morning to you, my friend. I'll let you off for being late, mate. And thank you very much for the congratulations. And again, thank you for your support on the channel. Steve, how you feeling about England tonight? You excited? A little bit nervous? Bit of both? Feeling patriotic? Let me know your thoughts. We used to have an idea of balance. For example, a left footer and a right footer for partnerships like midfield, pivot, or the centre backs. Yeah, I think we could probably still do with that. I think a left-footed midfielder in here would probably help. I think it gives us different angles that we can use. But I think it's going to be really fascinating to see how a team operates when there isn't the obvious standout, these are the guys. Like, City under Pep had such a strong team for a long time. Was their team unpredictable? I feel like when it came to it, you always knew that Pep was going to play Rodri, he's going to play Bernardo Silva, and then he's going to play one more. Or a couple of years ago, he was always going to play Rodri, he's always going to play De Bruyne, and then one more. And maybe that one more was versatile. Maybe that one more could change because they've got such good squad depth. Bruno will be the one for us that he'll still be the man. He'll still be the man. But I don't know about the guys behind. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to have sort of two guaranteed starting midfielders. I think Bruno will be the guarantee. And then I think the rest can almost sort of like tweak and change. And excited to see how that works. Steve celebrating 1 year as a channel member. Steve, check out the new membership emojis, by the way. I love your little Tielemans and Santos. A great achievement. Here's to 1 million subscribers. Thank you very much, as always, for the support. And then he's backed it up by dropping 10 gifted memberships in the chat. So 10 of you guys are now members simply because our man Steve Brooks is just an absolute legend who is generous as hell. So Steve, thank you very much for the support. And guys, be like Sun in the chat. When you see gifted memberships or anything like that, spam some love hearts to say thank you, because it's gifted memberships, support like that, which really keeps the channel going, especially in the quieter months. So Steve, thank you very much. As always, really do appreciate it. Really do. Can you hear my stomach rumbling? I do apologise. Hungry. Hungry for a World Cup semi-final, it seems. And one more midfield signing as well. Briefly touch on if you add a Sangare with Vela Baleba and see what sounds the best for balance. I'm not going to do that just yet, because I definitely want to do that in video form at some point. Like, think of the fun that we can have with different videos and different streams if once we've signed one more midfielder. Like, the options that we're going to have available to us in the centre of the park are going to be a lot of fun, lots of different dynamics for us to discuss. So we're not going to cover it too much today. There's a video coming out tonight, well, hopefully this afternoon, actually, before the England game. There's a video coming out looking at what I think we now need from the final profile. So yeah, stay tuned for that. You're wearing your England shirt. Me, my current season new United shirt. Yeah, I want to get the new United shirt at some point. I need to make sure that I do that. This is a David Beckham England shirt, by the way, so it's still United related. Yeah, basically, I've worn the Beckham shirt before every knockout game during the day, and then I turn to the new England shirt for kickoff. I don't believe in superstitions. Kind of do. Kind of do. We need Baleba, not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, the argument that I always try and put forward is, with this final signing, and, you know, this isn't rhetorical. This is where I have this conversation in my head the whole time, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I feel like I'm losing the plot a little bit sometimes. Let's say you're signing a fourth central midfielder. So you've got these three, and you're signing this fourth guy. Should that fourth guy be someone that covers the flaws of these guys, masks some of their weaknesses, so perhaps is a bit bigger, a bit taller, can win sort of aerial duels, covers a bit more ground, is a bit faster, longer in the leg, and can cover, 50 yards? So masks the weaknesses of the other three. Or should it be someone who really complements their strengths? Another one that is press resistant, or a really cute dribbler, or a really good combination passer. I don't know. I don't know what path we should take. I I think because of where we are right now as a team, I think you go for someone that covers the flaws. I think maybe next year we can look at players which are really going to enhance the strengths. But I think this year you cover the flaws a little bit. You cover the weaknesses for one more year, I think. But I'm not sure. That's basically Baleba. Yeah, certainly the one that does a lot of the covering work. I don't think he's a true defensive midfielder, but yeah. So Scott versus Baleba. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty nice way of looking at it. It's a pretty nice way of looking at it. Maybe that's a video. Is that a video in itself at some point? Scott versus Baleba. Who should the last signing be? I quite like the sound of that. I love the Tielemans announcement. We talked about signings that raise the bar. His game control and vision are top level. Yeah, I mean, Cal always says it on Twitter, right? It's mastery over motion. Get his brain and the football to do a lot of the work, and it's my favourite type of player to watch. Cover the flaws. We need to be well-rounded for different problems that different teams put forward. Yeah, especially across multiple competitions as well, right? We've got to be equipped to challenge in the Premier League, win cup competitions, but also go deep in the Champions League as well against different types of sides. So I think I would go more of a player that covers the weaknesses, but part of me does want to see a player which enhances the strong side of our game, just because I'm just imagining another sort of passing technical midfielder in there would be a lot of fun. You know, some of the football that you'd see from those guys would be bloody good. If you got if you got Scott, for example, who can do the tight footwork, dribbling, short passing, there'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We'd just blow teams away with some of our football. But there is that argument for the Baleba, who I don't think, yeah, just in the comment in chat, it's not about signing a traditional six. I don't think we're going to do that. We play a double pivot. Casemiro was box to box last season. So I don't think it's about a six. It's about a profile. I think it will be someone who can cover ground a little bit better and is more of a defensive-minded player, not necessarily a defensive midfielder. Not necessarily someone that sits here, but someone that plays in a double pivot, but is clearly the more defensive-minded of the two. I think is how I see it. We wait a long time for Baleba, also to make sure that we can get him just cheaper than what Brighton would like to get. A one-off season is unique. He can ball when well managed and get in confidence. Yeah, Baleba had a poor season by his standard. I still think he had a season which is better than what most Premier League midfielders have produced. You know, it's still a strong year from him. I'm not worried about his dip last year. It happens. I've watched Bruno Fernandes have a slightly quiet season before. You know, you're as good as your environment. Is the mentality there to be questioned a little bit after what happened last summer? Probably. But I'm not worried about Baleba's level as a player. I think he's still very good. I think his skill set is still one that is worth north of £60 million. But realistically, we've got to be trying to do it as cheap as possible. You know, we can't go anywhere near the 100 that Brighton wanted last summer. We cannot go close to that. We can't go within 25, 30 million of that, to be honest. So we've got to be careful. Also read that Baleba had some quite serious issues in his family back home that troubled him. So this is what I mean, right? That's why we've got to be careful with how we judge players and how we talk about them, because they have a human life off the pitch as well. You know, I know if I had trouble at home or in the family, that would affect me, right? My performance. I've had days on the channel here, right, where I'm not feeling my bright self. And you have a quiet day where the video you produce probably isn't as good. Or try being a footballer, having a big family issue going on with the pressure of millions of people watching, right? I know they get paid a lot of money, but money doesn't fix the stress and stuff that you go through in that way. So, yeah, that's why we've got to be careful with how we judge these guys. Max, enjoy the game, mate. Enjoy the game. May the best team win. I, of course, hope that is England, but I think it's going to be a classic. I think whatever happens is going to be a classic tonight. So enjoy it, my friend. And I will see you back here hopefully for a stream on Friday, we can catch up on it. Scott is more of a multi-tool, and we have that. A solid ground covering, defensive-minded player is missing. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah, I like that. Did see someone ask about it earlier. Yeah, I don't think Kone covered himself in glory last night. I think it was quite a terrible cameo from him. I think Tielemans was what was I saying? Tielemans was pretty terrible last night as well. Don't feel yourself, AJ. This isn't members only. Sorry, my bad. My bad. After demanding a massive 100 million fee last summer, Brighton has lowered their demands. They are currently holding out for roughly 75 million. Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, if we signed Baleba this summer for 68 million, this is good business. It's a player that complements what we've got. Premier League experience. We know that he wants to club, which has been a big part of our recruitment. We know that he wants to join us. And I think that should leave plenty of money for other signings this summer, right? It's a shame if we can't sell a Rashford, but if we can't sell Rashford, we just don't sign a left winger. Sign a left back instead, for example. Kone hasn't got the engine or recovery that I thought he did. I actually think he does. I think he does have the engine. I think he's got the ability. I think he's got the physical capacity. What worried me last night is that I don't think he had the desire to do it, which is concerning. It's a big red flag. Just come onto the pitch in a World Cup semi-final. Your team needs you. He just didn't run. Just didn't run for his team. Didn't make the recovery runs. Lazily gambled forward and then didn't get back. Really poor. Really poor. The discourse around Baleba 12 months ago was he's the best young central midfielder in the Premier League. Now people don't want him. Football's a fickle game. It is. Elliot Anderson last summer. If I told you we're going to bid 90 million for Elliot Anderson last summer, you'd have called me bonkers. You'd say I've lost my mind. 12 months later, he goes for over £100 million and people go, pretty decent. It's a weird world, football. Son with the gifted membership. Son, thank you very much. I can't see who it went to. Am I blind? I can't see where it went. But Son, thank you very much for the support as always. Son is another person who is an absolute legend of the community. You guys probably know about her if you are in the Discord. So make sure to show some love for the support as always, because I really, really, really do appreciate it. And your friends, because they subscribed to the channel and helped us get to 100,000. Legendary behaviour. How do you feel about Mainu not getting a kick so far this summer? Is it good for Man United that he'll be fresh or bad for his confidence? I mean, physically, it's going to be a good thing for him. He'd have kept his fitness levels up over the summer without sort of draining himself. He'll still need a holiday after it because of the psychological part of it. I feel sorry for him, considering sort of in a very short career, he's had a couple of big setbacks already with different managers just not favouring him in terms of style, in terms of profile, for one reason or another. I just don't think he does what Thomas Tuchel wants. If you look at the players that have played in those positions, he's not a Elliot Anderson or Jordan Henderson. He's not a Declan Rice. And he's not a Jude Bellingham. No one is. He's not a Rodgers or an Eze. He just doesn't quite fit. He doesn't fit into what Tuchel is trying to do. So I feel sorry for him in that regard. Will it hit his confidence? Yes. I would think so. I'd have a confidence hit. Especially then when I check my phone and I see Santos and Tielemans have joined the Red Devils group chat. I'd be like, okay, so I've been replaced at international level by Anderson. Am I now being replaced at club level? You know, that's probably in his head. But I think Cobby showed last year that he can overcome adversity. He had a manager who hated him, tried to sell him, tried to get rid of him, couldn't see his quality, and then look at him by the end of the season, got into the World Cup squad, and was phenomenal for us in the second half of last season. I'm hoping that he just sees it as another challenge, and I think a challenge can take him to the next level. You know, I want Tielemans to threaten Cobby's position. I want Santos to do the same, and the next guy as well. None of them should be comfortable in their spot. Even Bruno shouldn't, in my opinion. None of them should be comfortable in their spot. Competition should drive standards. So it's a setback for Cobby, but I think he'll take it in his stride. I think he'll be disappointed, but let's say England win the World Cup. He was still part of a team that won the World Cup and that winning mentality. He's in a great environment with the England squad. That'll be good for him. It's another good experience for such a young player. And then getting back to Manchester United and let him kick on. Let him kick on. Let's just buy Jude. I mean, yeah, that's the solution, right? Football's easy, mate. Just buy Jude. I can dream. He powered through Amorim's reign of terror. He can handle the Tuchel situation. He can. Notice how I navigated that message. Do I have an exact stream schedule? No, I've got a really itchy nose. I think hay fever's kicking in again. Do I have an exact stream schedule? No. Next season I will. Next season I will return to having a fixed schedule. It will be every Friday. We'll stream a tactical preview for the weekend. And now we're also going to have midweek tactical previews as well because of the Champions League. What day I do that, it will be Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what day United play. It's always 11 a.m. UK time. It will be every Friday once the season starts. Then it will be Tuesday or Wednesday alongside that. This summer, at the moment, it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy. It's a little bit all over the place. I said I went on 2 holiday breaks in June, but tried to keep uploading in that time as well. So I've been very busy. And then we've had the World Cup as well, which has thrown a spanner in the works. We've had a very quiet time at United just 2.5 weeks ago. No one was talking about us. It was dry. It was dead. It was boring. And then it sort of burst into life again. So it's a little bit unpredictable at the moment. But when we get back to the structured season, the streams will be more structured. And yeah, for some reason, turning your notifications on YouTube, I would ask that everyone try it, please, but it doesn't always ping you. Doesn't always ping you. Amorim might still be manager if he'd got off his high horse. Yeah, I mean, I will forever be grateful that he had an ego. We have a game against Wrexham in 3 days. What do you think our starting lineup will be, AJ? That's a great question. Maybe Friday, that can be the stream. We'll talk about the Wrexham game. Not like a tactical preview, because we're not doing a tactical breakdown of what Wrexham might do in a game. But maybe pick the 11 that we'd like to see for the first 45, and then the 11 that we'd like to see for the second 45. That might be Friday's stream. I like the sound of that. I think it will be that sort of structure, where one set of players plays the first half of the game, then we see a fresh set for the second half. Obviously, we know that Sesko is still injured. We've got several players who are still at the World Cup or only recently went out. So, be a weird 11 to pick, but hopefully some of the academy players will get to be in there. And maybe some new signings. I think Santos is possible. Would you even do a watch along? Possibly. What time is the kickoff? What time's kickoff on Saturday? Is it 2? No, that's a different one. I don't know. Maybe. It is possible. I would say a little bit unlikely. Just to cover myself. But maybe. Have a feeling Santos will be a very, very good player for us. Yeah, I think he will in time. And I think having someone like Tielemans sort of takes the pressure off of Santos as well. There's less expectation for him to hit the ground running. So, yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I believe Sesko's still injured. I think there's a chance he misses the start of the season, apparently. But yeah, we've got Xerxes, obviously. 4 p.m. We'll see then. We'll see. I hate watch-alongs. I prefer to watch the game myself and just watch. Yeah, I've never watched a watch-along in my life. They're not for me personally. I don't enjoy them. I said I'd rather watch the match by myself, but the one thing I can't understand, I do get it. Weirdly, this isn't just like to big myself up. I sort of understand watching a tactical watch along more than I do just a fan one. Like, why would I watch a fan react to the game live, especially at the World Cup, right, when I can just watch it on my telly for free? That I don't quite understand. I don't know. I'm ignorant. I don't know. Maybe you can let me know. Tactical ones I get a little bit more because I can sort of like live during the game break down what's happening. Or go, by the way, he's done that twice. Look out for him doing that again. But yeah. They're not something I love. What, like I said, watch alongs. I've never seen one. Never seen one. Thoughts on Camavinga interest? Love him. Absolutely love him. Quality player. A little bit worried about his injuries. I just don't know if he fits now with the other business that we've done. We're talking about the sort of two options for us this summer to mask our weaknesses, to enhance our strengths. He's going to be someone that would enhance the strengths more. Is that what we need? People will have their own opinions on that. I would still love him, but the injuries concern me. I think people prefer the streamer's commentary than the TV commentary. Yeah, that's fair. TV commentary can be bad. It can be really bad. Yeah, you guys would get a sneak peek into my mind if we would do a watch along someday. Like the live thought process, and just see how I'm not clever. I've just lost my mind. A big question for me is, will De Ligt be able to come back from his back injury? And if not, is Heaven ready to step up? Yeah, like I said, I think it's a big season for Yoro for that reason as well. Have we heard anything about whether De Ligt's... Sorry, like when De Ligt's going to be available? I don't think we have yet, have we? Watch-alongs are good when you are driving and can't watch the game. Ah, yeah, fair. Got a gifted membership. I'm grateful. Yes, that would have been from either Sun or Steve, I believe. So, yes, you are very welcome, my friend, but it's them that gave it to you. Is Baleba still on our radar? I think so. Also, good morning to you, by the way, Simon. I have read your message both times. I've seen it in the chat and just sort of didn't get round to reading it out just yet. So I'll do it now. Congrats, AJ, for reaching 100k. Have you got anything special lined up? First of all, thank you for the congratulations. Weirdly, not really, right? Maybe it's a cynical mindset that I've got. I'm so grateful for 100. I really am. It's such a cool milestone to have. You know, the fact that we'll get a plaque for it to celebrate it and everything is so cool. But weirdly, I'm quite cynical, and like in my mind, I haven't achieved anything. Like, it's just on to now. I want 101k, then I want 102k, and I want 110, 120, 150, 200k. So I'm not going to go like over the top on anything. I am planning on doing a giveaway. Oh, I just booted my desk. I'm working with a design team at the moment to have an AJ Analysis football shirt, because I'm obsessed with football shirts. I'm obsessed with this channel, so why not merge the two? So there will be an AJ Analysis football kit. Some of them will be given away for free. People will be able to enter that, and then they will be available for sale afterwards for a short period of time. And I have also got a different sponsor coming soon for 2 or 3 videos where there's going to be a chance for you guys to win £100 worth or $100 worth of in-game currency, and also a United shirt. So I've got a couple of things coming up, but not necessarily like a big specific 100k thing, just a little bit of me trying to give you guys some stuff that sponsors are making possible. Steve, you can put caps all day if it's to say come on England, mate. How are you feeling about it? I'm confident. I've been very confident for every game. I mean, I'm terrified. I'm nervous. My stomach's doing somersaults already, but I'm very excited for it. It's such... I mean, there's nothing better than just big football games. When you turn a match on and you just instantly know you're watching a bloody occasion here. You're watching something big here. Something's going to go down in history. Like, you can't beat that feeling. That's the only problem with the match last night. It didn't quite have the atmosphere that I would have loved for the game. I think tonight will. I think you will. You'll feel it. Are you friends with Atlantis Football? I'm pretty sure I remember years ago he mentioned to check out your channel. That's how I discovered your channel, I think. Yeah, we used to speak quite a lot. Not anymore. Haven't fallen out or anything. You just know how in life sometimes that happens. Yeah, I think we did a podcast together once, maybe, on his channel, and we used to both sort of shout out each other's channels, knowing that we were both United fans doing United content. So, yeah, he's not someone that I really talk to, but yeah, that might be where you know me from, or where you first discovered me. Next goal should be to get 100k on the Tactics channel. Might take a while. That might take a while, my friend. That one is very much like a side hobby at this point. That's a side hustle which makes £3 a month or something like that. But that's how this channel started, to be fair. I think I did 2 years of nearly daily content before we got paid anything. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Actually, I think I got paid in a PSG shirt once. In the first 2 years, that's the only thing I made. Surely an AJ baseball cap could be the thing, or would be the thing. Yeah, we'll see about. I did try and get that. We were very close to it, but the company. Look at my color, right? My logo went on screen anywhere. But if you look at my channel logo, it's weird, like fluorescent yellowy green. I don't even know how you'd describe it, but because it's fluorescent, it doesn't print well. It doesn't print nicely on a hoodie, for example. So yeah, I've sort of played myself. I've created a little bit of a problem for myself, but so that's why it fell through before. We also were very close to releasing a hoodie at one point with a design that I loved. I really liked it, but I received the hoodie and wasn't happy with the quality. I put a lot of hours of work into it. We got the quality and was like, I don't want to sell this. So that sort of went out the window as well. We were also very close to a website at one point, but again, I wasn't pleased with the final product, the final quality, so that got binned. I sort of only want to bring you guys the best, especially for anything that is going to cost like more than £1. I want you guys to get the best from it. So gonna age about 40 years tonight. Yeah, you and me both, mate. I think I've been subscribed since you had a few hundred subs. 100k is crazy. Yeah, Chad, you have been here from early. I think we started. It's like November 2020, something like that. November 2020 we started. It's crazy. Always request fabric. Yeah, I always get sent stuff before I'd sell it. Don't worry. Maybe a mug or something similar. Yeah, I have got a mug that a mate got me as a Christmas present. I'm actually curious, AJ. How do you usually go about evaluating players and tactics? Do you watch extensively or do you watch more data stuff? I'm way more into watching, like footage. Watching a lot of footage. You sort of my rule is I won't give you guys a video on a player unless I've seen at least 8 matches of them before. You know, I won't do a video on a player unless I've watched them 8 times. Coupled with a couple of all-action compilations and stuff like that, then I'll look at the data as well alongside it. I think they go together quite nicely. But I'm big into watching. Because I think I can pick up on some stuff that other people may not see or the data may not pick up. So yeah, I'm big on watching a player to sort of get my own opinion before then trying to bring that to you guys. Can you hear my stomach? Horrendous. I woke up nervous and excited for the England game. We have a great work ethics, and that will prove too much for Argentina. The Messi factor is always a concern. I believe we can win this genuinely. Same, it's a big night, isn't it? Very, very excited. Very, very excited. I feel like I can watch a bit of history tonight, which is got me goosebumpy just talking about it. Why 8 games? It's just a half decent sample size. You know, I feel like if I watch 8 games, I can watch a couple, 2 to 3 games where his side is the dominant side. I can watch a couple of games where they have less of the ball, a couple of games where I know they were transitional, a couple of games where they defended a lot of transitions, or I can watch them against a technical team in that time or a physical team. It just gives me like sort of the bare minimum. Sometimes it'll be much more. You know, there's been players. There was Zion Suzuki was a goalkeeper we got linked with a couple of years ago, and he was playing in China at the time. Who was he playing for? Was he in China or was he in Japan? Can't remember where he was. A few years ago now. And I watched like 18 games of him overnight, 1.5 or 2 times speed, whatever it was. And I just watched so many games. Obviously, skip out a bit for all the boring throw-ins and stuff like that, where the ball wasn't near the goalkeeper. You know, some players I watch a lot more. Others, like a Tielemans, I didn't have to go back and do loads of research because I've watched hundreds of Tielemans games anyway because I love him. So it does depend on the player. Hot chocolate / tub stream at 1 million subscribers. Let's make it happen. It's a deal, right? It's a deal. Hot chocolate hot tub stream at 1 million subscribers, we will be there no matter what. I mean, it's an argument for at 500k, but I don't know if I want to commit to that. Now we can do it at 500k, can't we? 500k, hot chocolate hot tub stream. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much, though, Chad, for the 27 months of membership. It's insane, isn't it? Insane. Thank you very much. And like I said, he's been sort of around for way longer than that as well. Class. How cool is this message? AJ, your content and approach has really helped me in getting a scouting internship at a club for next season. So thank you and congrats on 100k. That is one of the coolest messages I have ever received since starting this channel. That is sick. Best of luck with the internship and keep me updated on how next season goes. Yeah, Tielemans, 16 years old at Anderlecht. Yep. I used to... Him and Jude are probably the players that I've watched from like their earliest point in their career. Obviously not full 90s. I'm not going to sit here and say I watched full 90s of Jude at Birmingham, but I used to tune into the highlights on YouTube of every single game. Just because I heard about him, I was like, watched him once, I was like, this guy's incredible. I remember putting like, when would it have been? Maybe 2018, 2019, putting in a WhatsApp chat like, oh my God, there's this guy playing Jude Bellingham for Birmingham. He can play left wing, right wing, 10 centre middle to 6. He's unreal. Watch out for him. I'm not going to say I discovered Jude, by the way, because I sort of got pointed in the right direction, but still pretty good. Simon, you hate Oasis. Do you not love them just because of this tournament? Just this tournament alone? Because I didn't really listen to Oasis before. Now it's all I've got on right now. David, thank you very much for the gifted membership, my friend. Today it's not showing. Normally it like puts a message below who the membership has gone to. It normally like flashes up in green, but I can't see who they are going to. But regardless, thank you very, very much. You have great ball knowledge, and it's having an influence on the way I see football. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do you use Y-Scout to help with your analysis? No. I have done in the past when I was able to get a free trial, but not since. No, I don't have access to it. I'm Belgian, so I follow a lot about the Belgian players, like Tielemans and Anderlecht, though lived mostly abroad. What do you make of Belgium's run at the World Cup? It seemed to turn up for that USA game and not much more. I don't get the Oasis hype, but Wonderwall is iconic. Yeah, it is. It is. I said I've been listening to a lot of their songs since. I've always liked Wonderwall, but yeah, since this summer I have watched more. Listened to more. I'm losing my mind. I realise it's 10 past 12 and I really need to be editing today's video, but I'm sort of just enjoying chatting and it's taken my mind off the nerves of the World Cup game. AJ, what do you make of Jay Stansfield? I got into a rabbit hole of high potential championship strikers. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him. And this is what I mean, right? If I haven't watched a player, I'm not going to pretend I have. Yeah, I don't know. No one saw the Tielemans signing coming. Maybe there is a tier 1 signing on no one's radar, like Valverde. It's possible, right? I also think there's a chance we see someone like disappear from this squad, like get sold out of nowhere as well. Because we seem to be being quite unpredictable. Also, a big thank you to everyone who is congratulating on 100,000. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who has helped us get there. Edwick, I did see your message earlier. Again, I just forgot to read it out, but thank you very, very much. Did pretty well considering a few injuries they had. Actually played as a team and not egos. Yeah, it's a weird one. It was what game was it where De Bruyne and Lukaku both came out? Wouldn't it be nice to play in the Euros as world champions? I mean, wouldn't it just? Wouldn't it just? I don't even know like how I would react. This thought enters my mind every 2 years. How do you react if you win the tournament? Because nothing can live up to 60 years of expectations, right? I do feel that. Let's say England win the World Cup on Sunday. It will never be able to match the hype because it's been 60 years. But it will still be mental. Absolutely mental. Lich's last year of his contract and Shaw too. Hello, man. I watch you all the way from Kenya. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. I always find it fascinating that we have people watching from just all over the world in all sorts of different situations and circumstances. Everything apart from football, you're a great guy, AJ. David, mate, you can't make me cry on stream. It's been a pleasure serving this community and helping you grow. Can't express enough how many tough days I've been able to swallow just because of this community. I mean, you've just trumped the intern message, haven't you? That's pretty sick as well, to sort of know like what we've created can help people. Because I know myself, like, if I'm struggling with something, you sort of turn to a bit of content, whether that's a series or a film or whatever, to take your mind off stuff. It's very cool to know that we've created something that can provide that for people as well. I always think it's weird that, you know, some of you guys have been watching for 5 years and like you'd have watched on days where you're in a good place, you're in a bad place, you're hungover, you're going absolutely mental, you're angry, or you're just beaming, loving life, or you're sad. And like the same for me as well. And we just never really like quite know because we're just watching it all. We're just like interacting through a screen. Like I'm a very, very different human to what I was when the channel started. Very different. We started in 2020, a year which was it was a bad year. It was a bad year for the old AJ. A very different human now to what I was then. I'm in a much better place than I was back then. And again, like the channel and the community is a big part of that. It's weird, isn't it? Like all of this happens, and we just interact through the screen still. I remember watching when you still had no decent microphone. I want to, yeah, I want to upgrade. I want to get better. I really do. I want to just improve everything as much as possible. I saw AJ in town the other day. Nice Lamborghini, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of Hot Wheels. Now I'm being serious. Football and United is my escape. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling. It's really awkward during like a nice message. Let me roll away so you guys don't have to hear that. I'm being serious. Football and United is my escape. People don't understand it, but I say this from my heart. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to you and the community. I mean, that is just such a touching message that I don't really know. I don't have the emotional maturity to respond to properly on stream. But no, I completely get it. I think, yeah, football can be a big escape for a lot of people. Like big escape. You notice it most when it's not there. When the football goes, that's why the World Cup's been so good, right? But you do notice it. Say like on a normal summer, the season ends and you just sort of stop and you're like, wait, now what? Or like international breaks in the past, especially last season where we go 6 weeks without playing. You do notice it, you really do. Mike is a different story altogether. I'll tell you a story about the mic. That man there, David, helped pay for the mic. That's how much of a bloody legend that guy is. Now my stomach's actually going crazy. I am going to have to leave and get some lunch because it's ridiculous. AJ, you're so handsome. I love you. Keep up with the work. Do I know you? Wait, is that my ex in the chat? What the hell? Are you watching the Scotland fans? Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. It's quite amusing, isn't it? I feel sorry for him, to be honest. It's a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad. Anyway, I should probably start wrapping the stream up because I do have plenty of work that I need to do this afternoon. I need to edit this full video. I need to get myself in the gym, trying to become a healthy man for once. Then I need to get all my superstitions out of the way for the England game. Then I need to get to the pub nice and early because if someone takes my seat, I will fucking kill them, by the way. So I need to get my seat secured. I need a good view. So yeah, I am going to be dipping. But thank you all very much for getting involved in today's stream. Thank you for all of the likes, to everyone that subscribed, everyone that gifted memberships, renewed memberships, super chats. We've had several of them as well. And also thank you to everyone waffling along in the chat. It's been a really good stream. It's been a little bit busier than I thought it would be. More people involved, but I mean, that's always great fun. Like I said, I always try and get through as many messages as possible. I know some channels will only read out like super chats and paid messages. but I don't like to do it like that if I can help it. Yeah, I like to try and read as many messages as possible. Is that the first time I've dropped the F-bomb on stream? Yeah, quite possibly. Is this going to get demonetized now? Maybe, but I don't really care as long as I get my seat for the football. Special mention for the mods, all the work they do to make everyone feel welcome and a part of the community. Steve, you are absolutely spot on. My mods are incredible. We have the best set of mods in the game. Just absolute legends. Half of them, I'll be honest, are useless and don't do anything. You know who you are. But yeah, they are good, especially in the Discord. They do way more work than I do. They do way more for that part of the community than what I do. So yes, the mods are absolute legends. There's not too like the good thing is it's a good place to be a mod because you don't have to do too much a lot of the time, right? In terms of like beef, because everyone's so chill. There's such little toxicity that everyone just chills together and chats. So yeah, they're not really useless, I swear. No, but they are legends. And yes, come on, England. I'm going 3-1 England. Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Noni Madueke at the goal scorers. England win 3-1, progress to the final. And I'm going to be going mental. Tomorrow we will be on the second channel, first thing in the morning. And I probably won't have a voice. Sorry, I'm laughing because I just saw David's message. What a Manu mention. If the shoe fits, the shoe fits. Right. But yes, I will catch you all tonight or this evening for a video looking at what we now need from the last central midfielder, and then I will be on the second channel tomorrow morning talking hopefully about how England beat Argentina, and then content will resume from normal from there. Next live stream will be Friday at 11 a.m. Maybe we'll have a little chat about United's game against Wrexham, just for something a little bit different. But for now, I'm going to stop waffling. Yeah, probably a good idea. 5 years of waffling, 100,000 subscribers, still going strong. We're just getting started. Enjoy the game tonight if you are supporting England. If you're not supporting England, you're supporting Argentina. Respectfully, I hope you have a bad night. You know, in terms of your health and everything, I hope you're great. But I hope you don't enjoy the football tonight. I hope England just absolutely demolish Argentina. It's probably going to be a bit harder than that. It's probably going to be quite a tricky one. But yeah, hope you enjoy the game, and I will catch you all very, very soon. 5 years and I still can't find how to end the stream. Yeah, I'll see you all very, very soon for more content on both channels, including live streams.